Alrighty.
We gotta start. We gotta start with stuff.
Alrighty.
Let's call the Ridgeville Board of Zoning and Building Appeals meeting to order. Everyone, please rise and pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands. Let's call the Ridgeville Board of Zoning and Building Appeals meeting to order. Everyone, please rise and pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands.
It does it again. I'm gonna.
We'll turn it off. It doesn't begin.
Huh?
I said we'll turn it off.
Yes. And we'll start over. All right.
Just go ahead and shut it all off.
I will restart it. I'm right there with you.
Clerk, please call roll.
Members of the board, Kane,
Here.
Smolik,
Present.
Masterson, here. Thibodeau,
Here.
Winkle, Kimball.
Here.
Members of the administration, Chief Building Official Thurston.
Here. Are there any corrections to the minutes dated Thursday, November 18th, 2021? Hearing none, the minutes will stand. Are there any reports coming from the board this evening from planning commission?
Mr. Chairman, there are no reports at this time.
Are there any other reports or correspondence?
No.
Hearing none, we will move on to the public hearing. Will the clerk please read the only application?
Applicant Matthew Thomas, 9162 Longbrook Drive, North Ridgeville, Ohio, 44039. Owner same. Requesting variance to NRCO 1294.01 H1A and 1294.01 H3 for a 6-foot high fence, 100% closed, requiring 2.5-foot height variance and 100% closed variance. Location 9162 Longbrook Drive in an R1 district. Permanent parcel number 0700001 000403. Case number PPZ 2021-0098. Chief Inspector's comments. 1294.01 H13. Fences in residential districts from front line of building to street allowed to be 3.5 foot in height and 50% open. Corner lots have 2 front line of building. Applicant requesting 6-foot high fence and 100% closed, requiring a 2.5-foot height variance and 100% closed variance. BZA approval required.
Sir, I know you're the application, so if you could step to the podium and state your name and address, I'll swear you in for the record.
Okay.
Matthew Thomas, 9162 Longbrook, North Ridgeville, 44039.
Thank you. Do you swear or affirm the statements you're about to make in front of this Board of Zoning and Building Appeals for the city of North Ridgeville are true as you shall answer unto God or under these law of perjury?
Yes.
Thank you. Could you please tell us a little bit about your application?
Yeah, so we talked to the builder, got sort of a design for the fence. I didn't even realize we couldn't have 6-foot tall fences when we ordered the fence. And so they helped us with a design to, have the gate on the side of the driveway so it would look nicer. The lot is, I don't know if you've seen the lot, I'm sure you have a picture of the lot. The lot is very wide and sort of kind of curves where the street that allegedly they're gonna build is gonna go. So we already ordered the fence, and our fence contractor came to get the building permit. He said, hey, we have a problem. He never said even anything about the height of the fence, so I didn't realize until sitting here that the height was an issue as well. So I just thought we were here to try to get the gate on the south side of the house instead of having to have the whole fence along the fence line.
Thank you.
So was that what you wanted to hear?
No, that was perfect. That was great. Any information you can give is greatly appreciated. Looking at your topo on the last page of the application, the red line shows where the proposed fence is going to go. The entire reason for having this fence ordinance is you're on a corner lot. So you have, as the application stated, 2 front yards, even though it's really a side yard, but per our ordinance, it's considered a front yard. And the 6-foot fence, 100% closed, if it was towards the actual intersection of the corner, could at that point be a visual obstruction and possibly a safety hazard. Considering where you have it designed at the rear corner of the house, I don't see any way that there'd be any sort of safety concern or visual obstruction. And it seems to be a well thought out plan in my opinion.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Is the drawing on the screen accurate as to 6 foot off the back corner of the house?
It is, that's just the gate. So it's a 6-foot gate. That's as far as it will
I
go.
spoke to the HOA and whatever drawing they have, they think that's an 8-foot gate going there.
Yeah, it's a 6-foot gate.
Okay.
So, and maybe they're talking about, because there'll be a post and a post, and maybe that's where they got the 8-foot.
I have no idea, but they were under the impression that it was 8 foot. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Okay, so sir, if you want to go back behind the podium, we do record. I do live in the neighborhood. I walk my dogs all the time. I know your next door neighbors. Who is installing the fence?
It's the guy's name is Keith. I forget the name of the company. I think it's on the permit, right? They got the
We
permit.
don't have a permit. We just,
You want me to look it up?
yes, please.
Oh, Kiefer Construction, Keifer Construction.
Okay. You did say something that kind of piqued my interest. You said street allegedly is going to be completed?
Well, Bob Schmidt is telling us that the street will be completed after they complete around the side, and then they said they're going straight back, so I don't know how long it will be, or.
Well, no, I just
when
worked
it'll
for
be.
Bob Schmidt Homes years ago, and I knew that the street was always going, and it just takes a bit of time
Yeah.
sometimes. Okay, no,
Well, the only reason I said that is because they have all the construction material there, and they said they're gonna leave that there until they start building the street. So then when we said, hey, when are you gonna move the construction material? This is just a conversation we just had with them, because doesn't really look that great from our,
No, it
our
doesn't.
side window. They said, oh, we're not sure, we don't have plans. And then Scott told us, the architect, that they haven't allegedly purchased enough land back there to build it. So we've been getting kind of conflicting things from, Mike is coming to our house Tuesday, Mike Schmidt, to talk about some of the other things. So I don't know if you've seen our yard, and if you walk past there,
Oh,
but they
yeah,
didn't.
I actually avoid your street now.
Yeah, they didn't clean up any of the construction materials. There's nails and everything in the backyard. And I was telling Sean, when we met with them last year, that we were gonna have a yard and our landscape up before we moved in, and that hasn't occurred. So we won't be able to put in the fence probably till next year. I mean, definitely not till next year, but after they level the yard and do that. So it's been a little bit of a challenge, but.
Well, I was going to say, and I'm sure you have your HOA approval.
Yes, we do.
Okay, not that that matters.
Well, and I have to verify with my wife. She just mostly does everything, but I can try
No,
to
it
get it,
does-
and make sure we have it.
We don't, I was just asking out of courtesy,
Yeah.
regardless if it's been approved or not, we don't answer to that.
Yeah, it has, because we went back and forth with them with fences. And we wanted to get a fence that was a little bit off color, that had kind of like a design in it. And they said no, and so my wife said, because the fence across the street from us is a complete opposite color of the house. Apparently they're out of, compliance with the, the Ridgeville folks. So we did get our fence approved from them. At least the color. I don't know, maybe they're not aware you can't have a 6-foot fence or you can't go out the corner, I'm not sure.
No, what the chairman was just trying to say is, if you would have put the fence flat against where the edge of your house is,
Yeah,
there wouldn't be an issue, because you went past the building line, that you have 2 front yards, is what he's telling you. So because of the gate bumping it out,
yeah.
it's perfectly fine, and it isn't going to be an obstruction, and it is going to be a nice addition to the neighborhood. So that's all I was going to say. I was just mostly concerned about your contractor, because we just want to make sure that your contractor does follow the rules and regulations. We've had some issues with some of our contractors in the past.
Yeah, we moved from Barton to here and they did a lot of work on our house on Barton, so we could get it ready. So again, they did a pretty good job, but
Oh, welcome
that's
to the
all I
neighborhood.
really know. Thanks.
Are there any other questions or comments from any board members?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
I guess one quick question, there's a sort of a discrepancy. The offset's 6 feet, is that what it shows? And we're talking a 6-foot gate, so in reality, it's probably gonna need 8-foot offset. So I guess,
Posts usually aren't more than 6 by 6
right,
or
so
4 by 4.
So
So
six-
it's gonna be 7 foot.
I suppose that it depends on how that gate is built.
I wanna make sure though that if a motion is made, we just modify it so that you think 7 would be enough?
Technically, the rule of thumb is you could go within 12 foot of that right of way and still be excellent for sightlines.
Correct.
But I can see where James is coming in. To modify it, to make it 8 foot,
Just gives them a little bit more.
gives them
variety.
wiggle room.
Yes,
And
exactly.
that way we can't sit there and we wouldn't run into the issue of maybe another contractor saying, well, you let them go for a foot. It's a very good consideration.
Or having to come back.
Yes, correct.
Sure.
Not that we're not fun.
Yeah, so this is the same fence that we put up at our Barton house, and it is gonna be a post, the gate, the post, and the posts are probably
Like 4 by 4
like
by 6
that big.
No more than 7 foot.
That's a great point, Jim. Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments? Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak on behalf of this matter?
Actually,
You-
I'm here for the same reason, and it's all good. Matthew, I'm your neighbor. We haven't met yet.
Sir, I'm
Sir.
sorry. If you want to speak, you're more than welcome to, but you got,
Oh, okay.
we have to do it by our rules, and this is a semi-judicial board. Where anyone that speaks has to be sworn in.
Oh, I appreciate that.
If you can state your name and address, I'll swear you in for the record.
My name is Pete Bovenzi, and I'm at 9154 Longbrook,
North Ridgeville.
North Ridgeville, yes.
Do you
And
swear affirm the statements you're about to make in front of this board of zoning and building appeals for the city of North Ridgeville are true as you shall answer on God or honor the bounties of the law of perjury?
yes,
Please.
Matthew, I'm your neighbor, and this is all good because what I'm about to say is actually going to help you. So I'm totally good with the fence, no issue with the fence. It's about the timing and the install. So as it turns out, you don't know this yet, but our backyard in the side of the yard did not pass grading from the city. It failed. So with that said, it has to be regraded. So with the fence there, so it may be difficult to regrade. And I'm glad you mentioned that your yard has some leveling.
Ours hasn't even been
Yeah.
graded yet. It was supposed to be, but they didn't get around to it. Now they're not gonna do it till
Right.
spring.
So when you said that, that gave me a sigh of relief because when I talked to Mike, so when I talked to the city, it was Lucy Rodriguez of the inspection department,
Engineering.
engineering department. And so she's sure, and then she passed me on to someone else who suggested that I talk to Mike Schmidt directly about it. And I did. He came over to the yard. He agreed. The water wasn't flowing properly. We have 2 drainage systems in our yard. And the timing was perfect. He came like the day after it rained heavily. And the water was flowing in the two areas where the drainage system were not, so he saw how it wasn't graded properly. He said he would do it in the spring. So that's the only reason why I'm here. I just want to give you a heads up that there's a problem back there.
Yeah.
It's probably affecting your yard too. So before that fence goes in, both of our yards need to be leveled and graded properly. That's it. That's all I had to say.
Sounds good.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
Hey,
Yeah, nice to meet you too. I met your wife.
Yeah, she's been much more active in design.
Okay.
Thank you, you're gonna stick around?
Yeah, I'll stay.
Before we move on, I do think, since we're making an amendment to the application, we should vote on both of these requests separately. So for the first portion, let's do the 6-foot high fence first. Do we have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion with the amendment that the offset is 8 feet as opposed to 6 foot shown on our application.
That isn't what he
I
asked.
asked for the 6-foot height.
I wanted to make sure the motion included the amendment. The motion should include the amendment.
We're gonna vote on these separate.
Oh, just so you don't need them.
We're gonna ask for that part. I'm gonna go right to you, Jim.
Make a motion to approve.
I second.
Will the clerk please take roll for the motion to approve the 6-foot high fence?
Kane,
Yes.
Smollett,
Yes.
Masterson,
Yes.
Thibodeau,
Yes.
Kimball.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Now for the second portion of the 100% closed fence, the 100% closed fence, 7 foot off of the structure, not 6. Do we have a motion? If you want 8?
Yeah, discussion.
Sure.
Yeah, I just want to make sure it's safe for the guys, so I would, because you have to think that post isn't gonna be directly on the house, so it's gonna be 2 inches, so I just would rather be comfortable with 8.
I like it. Go ahead and make the motion.
I'd like to make a motion to accept that variance with the 8 foot offset.
Second.
Will the clerk please take roll?
Kane,
Yes.
Smollett,
Yes.
Masterson,
Yes.
Thibodeau,
Yes.
Kimball.
Yes.
Motion carries.
We have a copy of your section.
You can say anything about the 100% closure.
700% closed.
I said that at the
Very
beginning.
on the second.
7 foot.
Said at the beginning of 8 foot change.
Let's go ahead and do it.
Okay.
Just to be safe.
I thought that was the second motion you were looking at.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we allow 100% closed. Well,
Do we have a second?
Second.
Clerk, please take roll.
Kane,
yes.
Smollett,
Yes.
Masterson,
Yes.
Thibodeau,
Yes.
Kimball.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Now we have a copy of it. Sorry about the confusion.
This was a learning experience for me. We had a official.
Just making sure you have no issues.
Checking on what contract you hired too.
Before we move on to close. Oh, no, I did.
We did it. I just missed it.
Is there anything to come from the board?
Nope.
If not, at this time, the chair makes a motion to adjourn. All those signify by aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
Yeah, same to you.
Thanks for keeping straight. It's just.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean.